Hey everyone, welcome to the KAITO community meeting. I'm gonna be your host today. Looks like we have quorum, so we're gonna get started. Before we get started, I just want to make sure everyone adheres to the CNCF Code of Conduct. The TLDR is be respectful to each other, and this meeting will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube after the meeting ends. Looks like we don't have newcomers, so we can skip their introductions. For open topics, looks like Sachi has 3 open topics. You want to go for it, Sachi?
Yeah, thanks, Ernest. I did want to quickly call out, so we put together a new project task board for newcomers. So for folks that are regularly attending and kind of looking through our active issues, if there are certain types of issues that you think can go well within this project board, then feel free to add that tag and they'll be lined up here. Okay, yeah, so moving on to the open topics, I did want to discuss the progress on the KAITO scaler. As I'd seen last, there was just like reviews from folks within the community providing feedback, and wanted to see if there were like any blockers at the moment, and yeah, how that's going, and which release we'd be targeting.
Yeah, it looks like Limbo is not in this call, so I can't really speak for the status. I did leave some comments about one of the controller he's trying to implement and trying to see if we can just reuse some of the stuff that's already in the open source space, like start controller for rotating webhooks certificates. But it looks like there are specific reasons not to adopt that. And it looks like it's already merged. So I think that this can be a follow-up items for that repo. But yeah, is Limbo on the call?
I can speak on behalf of him a bit on this. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. The problem is current KAITO, we were using the Knative built-in webhook library. A few problems where we're using this library. The first thing, as many of you may notice, the logging system is crazy for that Knative webhook log. The logs is pretty hard to read, and it's very verbose. They need another config map to configure exactly how that logs is going to look like. That's number one. Number two is the interface that is posed by the Knative for webhook. When you do validation or mutation, the interface is not standard one. Everything is hidden in the context. So there's no exact API tell you where is the object. So in general, if you write a webhook, you tell you there is pointer point to the webhook, the resource object you want to either mutate or do the validation. But in Knative, they hide everything into the context. So you have to really go through that document to figure out how to find the role objects from the context. It's not very convenient to use as a general traditional Kubernetes operator author. The third problem is I didn't check it, but Limbo told me that the leader election of the Knative webhook is kind of different. So in the traditional way, when you implement the webhook, so the leader of the webhook server is tied to the leader controller instance. But in Knative, they're separate. So they have a controller, there's a leader election. They have another leader elections for the webhooks. It's completely separate. So this can be a kind of anti-pattern in some sense can be an anti-pattern. They put and that being said, so what Limbo was doing is he tried to combine the benefits of two systems. One system is from the controller runtime, where you have a webhook interface, which is you can clearly access every objects. That interface is cleaner and has a better integration with controller runtimes. But that controller runtime has a one drawback. It doesn't handle the certs, the automatically self-signed certs management, which Knative does. So what Limbo was essentially doing this PR is, leverage the old control runtimes, the webhook framework, and add in a specialized controllers for dealing with all the secrets and the webhook self-source elements. So I actually don't know why there is no easy library of doing this. So we only have a Knative one, and we have the old ones that one suspicion that we were thinking is, maybe in the old days, controller runtime want to work with the cert managers. So the controller runtime need to deal with all the controller lifecycle management. They leave all the cert management to cert manager project. So that's the old way of combining these two things together. But nowadays, I don't think cert manager is going to be required anywhere. In many of the cases, people just don't install it. So there's a gap here. So what I'm telling Limbo is, so if this pattern is a good one, maybe we should extract this pattern as a library. So it's going to be, we can even consider switch our KAITO's webhook to this new library. So that's my thought. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thanks for the context. I guess what I'm trying to point out is there's already such library. It's called cert controller, and this is designed specifically for rotating controller runtimes webhook certificates, and it's been used in multiple repository, and Certash in the call is one of the maintainers of it.
Okay. So this is not this is a library, right? This is not a deployment. Is this a library or deployment?
It's a library. So you just import it, and you just.
Okay, then you should let Limbo know. I wish.
I did.
You did? Okay, what
I think there are some. He mentions that there are some requirements from his sides that's preventing him from adopting it.
Okay, I'll probably be
yeah.
asking the more details. Why?
Okay, yeah, I'll leave that offline.
Okay, can you just leave a message in the maintainers in case I maintains chat in case I forgot?
Yeah. Okay.
Or maybe just update here. I think I'm going to.
Yeah. Okay.
Update the link there. Cert operator. What is that? Cert operator.
It's called cert controller.
Cert controller.
So it's just doing exactly what you guys are trying to do, which is creating a cert as secret and then just rotate it.
It's going to be exactly the same. You need to create a secret first.
Oh no, I think cert controller does it for you, right?
No, I'm asking, is this US the same?
Yeah.
So you need to create a secret because there is many ways of implement this. It's like you can ask people, don't create that secret. The entire controller is even going to create that secret for you. Or the Knative one is different, is that they ask you must create the empty secret first, and they do the consent.
Oh, okay.
So there is a behavior changes we need to think about because that behavior affects other things.
Okay. Yeah, I've never used the cloud Knative one. Okay. I'll just leave a note here.
Yes, I think the conclusion of this PR is just to add the open policy agent in the later version. Limbo asked me, Limbo told me this PR is ready to merge, and I take a guess, and it looks good, and I just merge it. I think it is a follow-up task to adopt the open policy agent later. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and a quick note that KEDA itself also uses cert controller.
Yeah, and LWS controller too. So there are a lot of good adopters out there.
Yes, I think it's a follow-up action.
Okay, cool. Any more questions or comments on autoscaler? All right. If not, we can move on to the next item.
Okay. Yes, the next one was a proposal for a new meeting series that can help with just getting alignment on not necessarily a weekly basis, but maybe bi-weekly or monthly on what we're targeting for what will be in a given release. So based on the kind of alignment that we had on the release cadence and what we're doing in the short term, I think it would be good to meet either on a bi-weekly or a monthly cadence and just take kind of evaluate where we're at in the progress of all of our work items, continue to put updates on the progress of these work items within the GitHub items as well, and then kind of move them around accordingly. What we've had in the roadmap so far, which I think is helpful for end users, is for the tag on whether it's going to, that feature itself is going to ship in like 7.0 or 6.0, 7.0, etc. And then if we're kind of putting those updates, then they're able to have visibility onto it. I'd wanted to ask this quorum for feedback on, having that kind of triaging or planning meeting, and if to accommodate other time zones as well, since this one is at the end of the day PST, like any suggestions. I was thinking like on a Thursday, but it could be earlier in the day for this kind of meeting. Thoughts?
My opinion is let's not create new meetings, but do you think it's something we can do it during the community meeting? Just go through the milestones and all the tasks if we have time, or maybe every month. I know we have community meetings every week, so maybe every fourth community meetings we'll go through the board, like spend 15 to 30 minutes to go through it. Because if we create another meeting series, that's another hour. That's more just another hour, 30 minutes to an hour of meeting time, which I think can be consolidated into just a single one.
Okay, yeah, it looks like folks don't want an extra meeting, which is understandable. And yeah, I was estimating that it would take at maximum 30 minutes. So we can have that on the first Tuesday of every month. Have this type of structure in the first half of the meeting. Do triaging and planning, kind of take inventory of the progress of the work items, hitting those milestones. And yeah, continue in that pattern. On the same vein, I had wanted to ask for new folks that have onboarded to the KAITO org. What has been the experience in onboarding and any feedback with regards to, let's say, doing like your first PR? Has that been, have there been a lot of manual steps to kind of do that onboarding? In general, open to feedback here.
I onboarded recently. I don't think there were a ton of steps, but to be fair, I was working pretty closely with Ernest to help me set things up over a call. So that might skew my perspective a bit. The main thing that we already kind of addressed was updating the installation and quick start docs to make it a bit easier to follow.
Okay.
As far as onboarding, were there any, do you mean like to get a cluster working with KAITO, or do you mean to get become a developer on the project?
I would say the latter. So developer on the project, that would include joining the KAITO org. I think for other CNCF projects, I'm curious whether like contributors can kind of like do their first commit. I guess they would have their own like branch and then create the PR. But I know that for Jonathan, I had to add you to the KAITO org. Is that not a standard across projects? I think I just want to like make sure if that manual step is needed, and then also for building out this like good first tasks project board as like a part of 0.
I'm pretty sure that for Kubernetes, at least, you need to join the Kubernetes SIGs org, but I'm not sure if it's a manual step, but I think you just open a PR against like the K8's IO branch or whatever. But there is this like a community.md doc that explains, the different levels of contributor to reviewer to maintainer, and like there's like a 3-month wait period to become a reviewer and so on. So if we want, that could be something we could add. the different requirements for like levels of involvement. I think the good first issues thing were pretty useful. As far as the milestone goes, when I was looking at it, it seemed like a lot of those were taken, so there wasn't really a ton of stuff that people wanted done that was super easy. I started working on, I guess, a bit more complex issues. I think one thing is that the way the mocks in the tests are set up, it would be helpful to have a bit more documentation on how those work. That was I think Ernest and I were looking at that and we were a little confused for a bit. But yeah, I think main thing is just a bit more documentation explaining like what the explaining a bit about how things work. Because without if you don't have somebody to ping and pair with, it could be a bit more difficult, I think, to work on something a bit more substantial.
Okay, yeah, this is really helpful. Thank you. Otherwise, I guess one other follow-up here is for tasks that or features that are likely broader in scale that that anyone would like to contribute to and maybe collaborate with others on, has that been easy to reach out to the owner for, let's say, for that work item and find areas of collaboration? Or has it more so kind of been like one dev is owning it and seeing it through from like beginning to end?
I guess I don't want to take up the whole new user feedback thing, but if anyone would like to add in, that's feel free. But I think one thing is that there was a couple times where I opened the issue and it seemed like the suggested implementation was, there were no objections, but when I opened the PR, there were then we got some comments saying we need to redo it a different way. So I think getting consensus on how things how like an issue, if we want to handle it, should be handled before starting work on it. I think that could save some time so that we're not like getting to PRs where ready for review just to find out that we need to redo the whole thing or we want to close it instead.
Okay, so you're saying like more active feedback on the like design proposal versus revamping it when it comes to like the PR.
Or not even a design proposal, like with a feature. There was I remember there was like a feature on, or no, there was an issue on why we need to label the preferred nodes or something. And I think based on the comments in that, it just said we just decided, okay, it seemed like we're just gonna say we don't need to label the preferred nodes. But then when I did that and opened a PR, there were some objections. So I think the main thing is, if there are objections, try to raise them as early as possible or try to get maintainer consensus on how to handle a feature or issue before, work gets started. So that way we can try to save developer hours.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm also trying to onboard Abhishek, who's in this call to Kaito. So yeah, Abhishek, these are probably something we can keep in mind, and feel free to let us know how your onboarding experience is in the future. Yeah. All right.
I think we can add a developer guide document, just like other open source project, to help the new contributor onboarding. Yeah. Tell them how to add the code, test your code, and how the reviewer how your PR will get reviewed by others. And
Yeah.
yes, just help them to onboard. We can do that, I think.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. I added to the note. All right. Anything else on planning? Okay. So we have one more open topic, also from Sachi.
Yeah, this can also just so the motivation here specifically for like taking a look at this relatively soon is that like Ernest and I are like working on an LLMD and KAITO RAG blog, and it would be great to have these working together, but there's a bit of a misalignment in the VLLM versioning. So what is supported with RAG today is 9.0, and LLMD kind of as default will install VLLM 10.0. I think without the option to revert back to 9 or version 9.0. So I wanted to take maybe 5-10 minutes to discuss what would be needed to address this and kind of like define the scope of this task and see if there's any volunteers to investigate.
Yeah, one thing I want to add is I haven't tried chat completion endpoint, and I know
Okay.
Brandon from I know Brandon owns that feature. I'm not sure if he's in the call, but I can give chat completion endpoint a try instead of the completion endpoint. Maybe it will work. So that's probably an action item on my side.
I think you should do that. I think they made some changes, doesn't support the VM completion or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think Sachi is the action item is gonna be on me to try out chat completion, and if that unblocks us, we can just go ahead and start writing the blog.
Okay. Is there a reason why chat completion would work? Like just for my understanding.
Initially I was following like existing documentations on chat completion endpoints, and there weren't a lot of chat completion endpoint example until recently. So I think I just need to read the most recent documentation on that. And I also think one of the reasons why this is not working is because of some API change on VLM side that's not compatible with the Llama index library. So there's probably nothing we can do until they fix that. So yeah, chat completion endpoint is also a more well-rounded endpoint for inference, in my opinion.
Yeah. The RAG engine support the chat completion endpoint started from 0.6. So you can
Okay.
give another try with the latest release. And remember to reach out to Brandon for this issue. Let him know and try to
you're
fix
using
it.
the 0.51. Okay.
Yeah, you need
Yeah.
to use the latest release.
Since we already released 6.0, you should just try the 6.0 because we do have a problem with this endpoint. V1 completion is kind of the old one. So like Hugging Face one, I mean, even though we say there's backward compatibility, we should support this, but whatever the OAI standard compatible recommended is always V1 chat completion. It is not a V1 completion.
Okay. Yeah, I ran this test before 0.6 is released, so I'm going to give it a try.
Maybe you should give a try to 6.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, and you can reach out to Brandon or Bunchy for this issue.
All right. Sounds good to you, Sachi?
Yes, that sounds good.
Okay.
Also just out of curiosity, is Brandon able to join this meeting, or is it maybe not a convenient time for his time zone?
He's in the East Coast.
Okay.
He can join, right? So
I can talk with him. I tell him it's not mandatory. It's just volunteer.
Right. Yeah, East Coast makes sense because it's almost 8 p.m. there. So okay.
That's all from my end. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Sachi. Yep, thanks. I know Sertash has to go soon, so want to kick it off to you for AI Kit demo.
Maybe I can do it next week because there's only a few minutes left. I have to drop it around like 4:30ish.
Okay.
Maybe I'll if I can go next next week before open items. I think that that would give me some time because I have to drop around this time.
Okay, no worries. Okay, Then I can go next. I have 2 quick demos. Just want to show stuff that I'm working on KAITO. Let me share my screen. Okay, so first thing I want to show is KAITO plus Flux CD integration. So as you all know, I'm working on the Gateway API inference extensions. And one of the problems with that implementations is that the workspace controller has to create 6 to 7 Kubernetes resources per workspace just to make this features possible. So one feedback I got is to integrate Flux Helm release controller and CR these to KAITO. And yeah, I work with Jonathan on that. And the result is that when we create, or when we installed KAITO, in addition to the workspace controller and the device plugin, we also get the Flux controller here as part of the KAITO installations. And we also have a specific feature flag called Gateway API inference extension equals to true, which controls whether we will install the Flux Helm chart as a dependency chart of KAITO, thanks to Jonathan's work. So now when user deploys a workspace with that feature flag turned on, for example, I have 5.4 mini deployed here. In addition to the workspace, the controller will also create 2 different resources. First is the OCI repository, which is responsible for pulling the Helm chart to the cluster. And the second custom resource that it creates and manages is called the Helm release, which initiates the installations of Helm charts. And if we inspect the YAML content of Helm release, you can see that it's owned by and managed by the workspace CR. So in summary, for each workspace custom resource the user creates, and with that feature flag turned on, it will also create these 2 resources to pull the Helm chart and install and manages other resource on behalf of us. And you can also see most of the resource that are related to inference extensions are ready. So like the endpoint picker right here, and also the inference pool that is managed by the Helm chart. So this reduce our Kubernetes resource, the number of Kubernetes resources we have to manage from 6 to 7 down to 2. And we hope that this is the pattern we're going for after. Like in the future, if we have like third-party integrations that we want to integrate to KAITO, we want to use this pattern to install stuff through Helm. Any questions?
So you said you had 2. So I got the Helm release CR. What are the other CR?
Yeah, so first is Helm release. The second one is called OCI repository. So how Flux works is that there's a concept of source API where you define your source. So for example, if you want to run kubectl apply, your source can be a Git repository. And for Helm release, your source can be like an OCI repository or a Helm repository. So think of this as, when you run Helm install, or before you run Helm install, you have to run Helm repo at, and then the Helm chart repository. So this kind of acts as that, where it pulls the content of your Helm charts to prepare for installations in the next step.
So why this URL is pointing to the inference pool? I'm kind of confused.
Oh, that's just the Helm chart name. They just call it inference pool.
But what is inside this inference pool? The controller stuff? Okay.
It's just a tarball that has the Helm chart content.
No,
So
what is
if you,
inside this chart? Is it a controller or this is just
oh,
definition?
yeah, so what's inside this Helm chart are the resource that I'm trying to create in the previous revision of the pull request I opened, where we have to create things like role binding,
Oh,
service account, deployments for endpoint picker, and then the inference pool
oh,
resource.
I see. So in the Helm release, you tell them how to generate a final form based on the parameters you want to set, like all the values you want to set.
Oh,
So
yeah. So if we inspect Helm release, you
oh,
can
it
see
has all
that
the values. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
this is the
Cool.
value YAML.
Okay.
I pointed to MCR because we built MCR image for
Yeah, this
endpoint
is a
picker.
much nicer. Yeah, this is a much nicer. Yes. You don't have to even deal with all these 6, 7 resources. It's just part of the OCI. Yeah, that is source to choose. It's just coming from there, and you use a Helm to do this value assigning for your own customization. So that's and the Helm controller is going to deal with the lifecycle of the objects, right? So
Yeah. Also
so
deal
what
with
is the lifecycle
upgrades.
here? So what is the lifecycle here? So lifecycle is this CRD has a owner reference of the owner by the
Yeah.
workspace. Okay.
Yeah. Because it's created by workspace. So if someone delete the home release, it will automatically create a new one.
Yeah, but if we delete a workspace, this resource is gone. This CR is gone. If we delete
Yeah.
the workspace, and the Helm
Yeah.
controller is going to deal with the resource coming from that registry. They are going to delete all that resources. So that's the ordering.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it also deals with upgrades. So say,
Yeah, can you check one of the resource? I want to see whether those resources has owner reference. I'm just curious.
so they don't have owner reference, but they're indirectly managed by the
Helm.
hum controller.
Okay, where is it?
So
I think there
this,
should be a label somewhere. Okay, managed by Helm. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So
Sachi.
Helm controller is going to do the GC basically.
Yeah.
Helm controller is
So
going to do the
yeah. So when I delete the Helm release, it's essentially doing a Helm uninstall, which will delete all the resource managed by that Helm chart.
Okay.
And yeah, I guess one nice thing is also responsible for upgrading. So say tomorrow I want to bump this Helm release to 0.6.0, it will just do the upgrades for me. So it's as you said, it's a much nicer UX for us.
So just one more caveat, because I heard every time Helm need to do any operation, it will generate a secret. But so I see some cases that people just doesn't manage those secret. So if you have constantly Helm update, you have accumulate a lot of secrets in the one namespace. I'm just curious. Do you have any secrets coming from Helm? Oh, you do
Yeah, I
have
mean
one.
these are just the Helm secrets that Helm manages. It's not something we manage. And I don't really see us updating this Helm chart often, except when we bump the actual Helm chart to
Yeah.
the next version.
Okay, that's fine. I don't think we are going to update that frequently for sure. Yeah, it is not a pipeline. It's not tied to a pipeline of doing the CI/CD pipeline with every new releases every day. Okay, that's fine.
All right. Sachi.
Yeah, great demo. This is I really see a lot of use cases for customers here. One question is this specific to Flux, or can any other continuous delivery tool be used?
It is specifically for Flux because we kind of search in the open source community what kind of Helm controller we can leverage. So what I mean by Helm controller is someone is something that you can declaratively install Helm charts. So Flux is probably one of them. It's also used by AKS, I believe. And it's just one of the most popular Helm controller out there. And we like how modular it is. So basically, you can choose. So there are 5 to 6 controllers within the Flux ecosystem, and we can kind of choose which controller and CRD we want to install. So it's not like we're gonna install a full-blown cert manager type deployment just to get certificates. Just an example. but instead I can kind of handpick, oh, I want these two controller and these two CRDs, and it's just gonna install for me. And that Flux installation is also tied to the Kaito Helm chart, because Jonathan did it so that we linked the Flux Helm chart as a dependency to Kaito Helm chart. So if someone uninstalled Kaito, it'll also uninstall Flux.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, that's really helpful to know. Is there like a brief like proposal with this, or that you'd be able to put together?
There's no proposal. It's or something I have to implement as part of the Gateway API inference extension stuff work.
Okay.
But I can write like a one pager if you're interested, and if you're interested to share with some other folks.
Yeah, I think from the yeah, like product side, it would be great to share it with some other people.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Jonathan?
Oh, I said it in chat, but I'm 90% sure it doesn't create a new secret every time you install. So I'm pretty sure the way Helm does it is that it creates a secret for a release that you install just so it, can keep its own internal inventory. But once you update it, it shouldn't need to create a new secret. I'm pretty sure it can just update the existing one. But also, I do remember there's some way to configure it to use maybe a config map or something if you don't want secrets. It was somewhere in the Helm docs, but if that's the issue, I'm pretty sure there's some way we can work around it.
Makes sense. And it also looks like it only keep tracks of like the most recent two releases. I'm not sure how these some secret works, but yeah. Okay.
But yeah, in any case, it shouldn't like spam your workspace with a ton of secrets.
Okay. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. If not, I have a second demo, which is showing GPT OSS 20 billion parameters deployed with Kaito. It's not a preset, but it's using Kaito's custom pod template to provision the node and deploy the deployment. So yeah, I have a workspace here with A10, one A10, 24 gigs of GPU memory. I know this model use a quantization of 4-bit, so it's not going to take up a lot of GPU memory just for the model weights. So, and I'm using Chloe's headlamp plugin to chat with it. Yeah, so it's something you guys can start using it. So if I ask, what's your model? It should say it's a ChatGPT based architecture. Yeah. Any questions on that?
Cool. Is the image provided by the VLM community? The Docker
Yeah.
image, the base image.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, they will keep update their image, right? Because I can see there are still some bugs with the GPT OSS from the VLM community, especially the tool calling may have some bugs.
I see.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but it may work very good with general inference.
Mhm.
If they can keep updating the base image, that's good, and then will soon update our own update to 10.1 VLM. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I do notice the inference speed is very, very slow, part because of those bugs. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on that. But
Yeah,
meanwhile,
what I know is the tool calling may have some issue. Other may be good.
okay. But yeah, meanwhile, I have an open PR just to add an example if people want to give it a try.
that's indeed very slow. So that's not a good sign, Sachi. So just from that demo, I can see it is slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's due to the runtime, right?
Not sure,
no?
not sure.
I think it's just too
It's
new.
really slow because I remember I was pretty impressed with 5.3 with 8.10. It's very, very quick when I was doing something
Yeah.
in the console. Something wrong with it. I have no idea. Maybe that's the reason VIM doesn't release it because they are also debugging why it is so slow.
Yeah, maybe it's just a preview version is acceptable, I think. For now, just for now.
Yeah, we're also getting some like benchmarking done in parallel with Ernest's help. So I can also share the results of that probably by like end of this week.
Okay. Cool. Any questions or comments on Kaito? All right. If not, we can end the meetings. Have a great week, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.